Hey there, another quick one for you today. Welcome to Craft Central Designs. Today I'm sharing with you a Dollar Tree Plus item makeover in an autumn theme. I took this one from plain and ordinary to pretty and extraordinary. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content and subscribe if you are not subscribed currently, and please share my channel with others. I would really appreciate that. Okay, let me show you how easily I did this autumn makeover on this Dollar Tree Plus item. Let's look at the materials that I used to create this piece. I have here this piece that I purchased for $3 in the Dollar Plus section. It says Gather. It's pretty on its own, but I thought it could be much prettier. So I decided to give it just a little bit of embellishment to really change the look of the piece. So this was in the Dollar Tree Plus section. It came with this, with a hanger and that little bow with the beaded tails, and it's a nice sturdy piece, and it is obviously a paper on the top of it, like most of the Dollar Tree signs. It's not actually a nice wood, so I'm going to take it and just make it look a little bit more high-end. I have these beautiful flowers, autumn flowers from Hobby Lobby. They're 40% off. There's some white velvety pumpkins. I was hoping to use those, but the piece was just a little bit too small for me to fit those on. And there's some fall florals, some leaves, some different types of plump berries there. And I have some little pine cones and some acorns, which I love, that I purchased at the Dollar Tree. Otherwise, everything was from Hobby Lobby. And I have some pitberry garland there, again, from Hobby Lobby. I have here this plaid ribbon, autumn ribbon. 40% off, goes beautiful with those flowers. Those flowers look like little mini sunflowers. And I have some narrow ribbons, also in the autumn department at Hobby Lobby. And then I have this beautiful burlap ribbon that I keep repetitively using on different projects. I believe I got that at Michael's. There's some pipe cleaners, some wire cutters, and some scissors. I'll also be using a hot glue gun. I'm going to take one of the larger flowers on that stem and then one of the smaller ones. And again, I was hoping to use a pumpkin there, but I ended up not using it. I only have a bit of space to decorate on that piece, but I felt that it really could use something. So I had a few ideas on how to make that piece look more high-end, if you will. So I'm going to be creating a bow, of course, and I have this pretty plaid from the autumn department at Hobby Lobby. It's a nice 1.5-inch ribbon. And it's the plaid, the colors in the plaid go very nicely with those rusty orange flowers. So I'm going to leave about a 4-inch tail, and I'm going to make my loops around 6 to 7 inches. I just fold my ribbon over, pinch it in the center. Now I'm going to place it up to my piece to make sure that I'm not making it too big. I twist my ribbon, fold over that same 6 to 7 inches, pinch it in the center, twist my ribbon, fold it over, pinch it in the center, the same size loop. I can always just eyeball it to see if I'm getting it equal in size, twist and fold it over. Now I'm going to be creating a 4-loop bow here. I'm actually going to be creating a ribbon with 4 different ribbons. So I just place a piece of a pipe cleaner, preferably one that matches or coordinates well with your bow colors. And I just twist that pipe cleaner around the back to secure those loops. I'm just going to be angling the tails of my bow. And I'm going to be creating, as I mentioned, a mixed ribbon bow. And I'm just going to be stacking the layers just to create a lot of visual interest on that piece. Now I'm going to take my very narrow ribbons, which I happen to love these. One is a gingham check and one is a stripe. And those were also in the autumn department. Excuse my voice. Some of you who follow my channel must be realizing that I sound a little bit hoarse today. I had a cold last week, but I'm continuing to craft, so doing okay except for the hoarseness. Okay, so I created another 4-loop bow with my loops around the same size. I'm going to do the exact same thing, but for that very narrow ribbon, I just do like a figure 8 bow. I just form my loops like a figure 8. Now you can do this however you create narrow ribbon bows, just to create a 4-loop bow on each side. Do it however you like. You can see I just use a technique where I'm just creating figure 8s there. Now I have the gingham check, and I'm just going to create that same 4-loop bow with the same size loops. Now these are applied to this bow because I felt that they would add like a lot of visual interest and texture and variety to the look of that bow. So I took a small pipe cleaner, wrapped it around there as well. So that's layer number 3. And then for the top of the bow, I'm going to use that very pretty burlap ribbon right there. Now that is not wired, but it's a really awesome ribbon. I believe they have the same one on Amazon, but I think I purchased this at Michael's. It has the most awesome texture, and it's a pretty burlap color, and it has this awesome curling ability to the tails. And I'll explain what I mean by that in a little bit, because you'll see how it's such a beautiful ribbon, how it curls on the ends. Just naturally, it does that. All right, so we're going to take a pipe cleaner, wrap it around again. Now, I'm not going to create a center loop on this bow because I'm thinking I'm going to need that space in the center of that bow to apply some of my florals and embellishments. I don't have a lot of room to decorate on the top of this piece, so I want to take advantage of every little bit of space. Now, the next thing I have to do is stack all of my layers together. I cut off the pipe cleaners on the back, any excess pipe cleaner, so I can get those bows all nice and flush against one another. And I continue to stack my bows one on top of another, opening up my loops to receive the next bow layer there. And then my little burlap colored bow is going to go right on top. I'm going to secure all of those loops together, or all of those bows together, with a pipe cleaner, of course. I'm going to press that very firmly right down the center. And I'm also making sure I have everything nice and aligned right down the center. Now I am going to take my needle nose pliers. This is something I often do when I create smaller bows. And I just press that together to get those layers all nice and flush. I'm just snipping off any excess pipe cleaner there. That bow is just going to be glued to the top of that piece, hot glued. So you will need your hot glue gun plugged in for this. Hot glue will work very nicely to attach all of your embellishments to this piece. So I have my bows all secured together. And I'll just snip off my excess pipe cleaners in the back there. And now my bow is all ready to attach to the upper right-hand corner of that piece. I will be shaping my bow, of course, once I get it on the piece, and arranging my tails and trimming them accordingly. Now, you could use any type of ribbons that you like, but I would suggest you keep your ribbons no wider than 1.5 inches, and preferably to use as much of a wired ribbon as possible so that it keeps its shape. You could go with a golden yellows or something with pumpkins on it, or whatever you like. Now I'm going to be positioning my bow on that piece so that the tails are going to be facing upwards, because I don't want to cover up the word gather. Now this piece came with that little piece of burlap around the handle, and it had little tails on the burlap with beads. I couldn't decide, do I want to leave it on? Do I want to take it off? And I kept going back and forth, back and forth. I ended up leaving it on. I just couldn't make up my mind, but I think it's really cute how they, Dollar Tree, whomever manufactured this piece, created that little bow with the beaded tails. So I ended up leaving it on there. You do you if you want to take it off. It does have a burlap hanger on the back already when you purchase it. Okay, so I decided this piece needed a little bit more color. So I took one of my narrow ribbons. I actually used the gingham check, and I decided that I was going to place a narrow ribbon across the top and across the bottom. And I think this added a nice element of color to the piece. We're going to need to take off that sticker there, that $3 sticker. And I'm just going to be placing that ribbon across the top and the bottom, wrapping it around the back, and securing it with hot glue. I made sure to place my ribbon above the G of gather, a little bit of space in between. And again, just using a little bit of hot glue to secure that ribbon around there. And then I will go ahead and do the bottom as well. Now, if you're going to do this, you're going to have to use some type of very narrow ribbon, because gather takes up quite a bit of space going vertically down that sign. So it's going to, if you're going to add a ribbon like this, make sure it's a very narrow one. But you're going to see that this was a nice embellishment. Just added a little something to the piece. Or you could leave it off, whatever you choose. Put it on, not put it on, that's your choice. I like the look of it, and I like that it added some color. Okay, so now I have my bow all ready to go. And in order to start placing all of my embellishments on that piece, which I don't have a lot because not a lot will fit, but I'm placing on there as much variety as I can for visual interest of embellishments: pine cones, acorns, flowers, pitberries, and some leaves. So that's quite a bit in that one small space. Okay, so I placed my bow right in the little curvature of the top of that sign, right at the neck of the handle. So I place a good amount of hot glue there, and then I go around and further secure that because I want that bow to sit there. It's not exactly glued right to the front. It's sitting basically at the very top of that piece, just so I'm trying to allow myself as much room as possible to be able to place some florals on there. And I'm loving it so far. It really looks nice with some color added. And I absolutely love these little rusty flowers. They look like mini sunflowers. So I'm going to put 2 of those on there. One is a little bit smaller than the other. And I place both of them in the center of that bow. Now one of them, the larger one, I place facing downward. The other one I place facing a little bit upward. And I just secure those with hot glue. And now these are going to really pick up the colors in the ribbons, the plaids and the narrow ribbons as well. The burlap ribbon matches very well with the actual sign itself. So everything is coordinating very beautifully thus far. Now you can see this piece is starting to really take shape. So I have my largest elements on there now. And now I'm going to start applying some of the smaller elements along with some autumn leaves with the kind of rusty colors throughout the leaf. Now I'm just arranging the tails. I have that wired ribbon there, so I really take advantage of that. And I manipulate the tails so you can see they're poking upward there on an angle. And I just turn up the tips of the ribbons and just really take advantage of the fact that I have that wired ribbon on there. Now I'm applying some small pine cones, 3 of them, underneath the sunflowers. I believe those are sunflowers. I'm not really sure. I'm not an expert on flower varieties, but it looks like a baby sunflower to me. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I'm also going to start placing around, you can see there, some of those autumn leaves, because I think this piece would look really pretty with a few leaves also positioned around that bow. So when I place the leaves, I put a dab on right at the base, on the top and on the bottom, so they can just adhere to the other elements of that of the bow and the florals there. And you can always just place things accordingly and around until you're sure that you like the placement of it, and then go ahead and glue that on. Now you can see how easy this is to take this up to another level, if you will, just with a few florals. Now I'm going to add an acorn in there, which is really pretty because it really picks up the colors in the flowers. It's almost an exact match there. So I've added an acorn, 3 pine cones, some leaves, and the 2 flowers. And I'm just positioning all of that around the bow, and I even stick like my leaf in between the bow layers. So you can do that. Now I added another flower pointing downward, and then one also on the edge pointing outward. So you can see this piece is now looking very pretty, and it was so simple, so easy to do, but it really, really improved the look of this piece, which was, by the way, again, only $3 at the Dollar Tree in the plus section. Now I'm going to take my pitberry garland, and I think a couple of pieces of curly pitberry are going to look very pretty on this piece. So I took a pencil and I wrapped the pitberry around the pencil, and I'm going to put a couple of sprigs, if you will, of that in my piece. I just hot glued them in, and there you have it. So simple, so easy to do, with a bow, a couple of small flowers, a few leaves, and some pitberry, and an acorn and 3 pine cones. Now, that piece looks very pretty and would be very pretty in a dining room or a kitchen. Okay, so until next time, you all take care.